So to restore a marriage and to go from attachment to detachment to connection, which is what you really want, which is the safest place to be, the most fun place to be, the most fulfilling place to be, what marriage really is supposed to be about, you need to detach yourself. And the way to do that is by thinking of your partner when they're upset as this little annoying brother, as opposed to this big, scary narcissist. That was part one. It's just an insight, a suggestion, an illustration to help reveal the fear that you have around their emotions, and to realize that they're just upset and what you're feeling is just fear. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to lead to like a lack of safety, right? Like it does not necessarily mean that. It could mean that, right? Like use your discernment for your own situation. It could mean that, but does it mean that? Fear is just a flag. The second part of this is, how do we go from detachment to connection? Because here's the deal. When you're looking at your partner, you're scared of them, your life revolves around them, you're doing everything for them, you're not really respecting them, you are just being afraid of them. This is what you probably did with your parent, and you probably overfunctioned. And so we need to change that dynamic at all costs. This dynamic can never happen again, especially in your marriage. This is not good for your kids. So when you kind of have that mentality shift and you become your own person, you start doing things, expressing your emotions, your needs, your desires, even though they're upset, even though it makes them upset, it doesn't make them upset. You do this and they're upset. It's not a cause and effect thing. But the idea here is to go from that to that. And so the biggest question I've gotten is like, okay, well, I see them in this way now. Now I don't respect them. Now I don't want to have sex with them. How do I go from there to connection? And here's the deal. Here is like the ultimate thing. This is not just an internal process. When you're up here and you're attached, you are only internalizing, right? Like that's the problem, is like you do not share what you're feeling. You do not share what you're needing. You do not share what you want. All your behavior is people pleasing, but it's marked by internalizing behavior. That's like the marker, is internalizing. Your reality of life exists only on the inside, only up here. And going from here to here is taking the internal, external. It's voicing what you're feeling all of the time, okay? All of the time. That's what you should have done when you were a kid, and your parents should have been okay with that. They should have nurtured that. When you had bad behavior, that's how this comes out, right? Is in behavior. Our emotions, our needs, and desires. That is the underbelly. That's the iceberg underneath the tip that you see above the water, which is behavior. Behavior, emotions, needs, and desires. This is the language I need you to adapt. You need to make sure that your emotions, your needs, and your desires are matching your behavior. In here, that doesn't happen because it's all internal. You're people pleasing. You're very disconnected from this internal self, this under the water iceberg that's really going on. And so you're people pleasing. And the irony of this is like people that are people pleasers are the most resentful, angry people that you've ever seen. And that's very normal. But what we need to do for the sake of your marriage and your family is change that. And so this is going from making everything internal to everything external, right? Where you are a whole person independent of this person. You're going from keeping everything inside, suppressing everything, having autoimmune issues, like getting breast cancer. Literally, this is how this happens. People just suppress all of this stuff. And nobody knows because their behavior doesn't match it. Outside, they just see a happy person, right? No, that's not okay anymore. We know better now. And so going from attachment to detachment is making everything external. Your emotions, your needs, and desires. So how do you get to actual connection? Again, this is not your thing. If you think that this is an internal process, I just need to shift my mindset towards my partner to really be connected with them. No, that is not the case. If you go from internal to external, what you're doing, not only with yourself, like acknowledging your emotions, meeting your needs, and getting what you want, if you're doing that on your own, what you're also doing is making that known. It's saying, babe, I used to be really scared of your emotions, and now I'm not. Now I think it's totally valid for you to be upset. but now I really want to be connected with you. I'm really angry with you for XYZ. I'm angry that I feel alone in the house. I'm angry because I want a partner so badly. I need a partner so badly. I'm feeling so overwhelmed all the time. And I don't see that in you. I don't see an effort to work on yourself. I don't see an effort in our marriage. I don't see that, right? Like, that's behavior. You are allowed to always talk about observational things, and that's behavior. You can talk about what's said, what is not said, what's done, what is not done. That is in the realm of constructive criticism. When you start going after people's character and all that stuff, that's like non-constructive a lot of the time. But there's a place for honesty in this conversation, where you going from internalizing to externalizing is not very pretty sometimes. Sometimes it's like, it's just like when you're learning to be an artist, the goal is just to get paint on the page. We're not really worried about staying in the lines at first. Just use this as your guidelines. When you know you're ready for connection, you're going to be a master at this, expressing your emotions, your needs, and your desires all of the time. All of the time. And let me draw something for you. So that's how to go. That's like kind of part 2. That's a mentality shift from going from here to here, but how you get from here to here too. It takes repair. That's the only way. It takes owning yourself, owning your behavior, being honest about what you're feeling, and that reflecting in the way you're expressing yourself, and also like inviting and asking for, requesting change. It's not demanding it. That's what this is. That's what this is I will not be okay emotionally in my own life unless you change this. Your marriage, this takes some decentering, detaching from your marriage, being like, yeah, I have a family. Yeah, this is a beautiful family and I love it and I will do anything for it. And that's why I'm honestly going through all these stages, even though I'm like resentful as hell that I have to do something else myself, because my whole life I've had to do something myself and no one has done shit for me. Like, I'm still having to do that. But the idea here is that I am asking you, I want this with you. And if that's true, like, I love you, I love all of these parts of you. That's the other part of going from attachment to detachment. This is black and white. This is black and white, right? It's you or me still. This is both. This is, I feel so angry at you for this emotional dysfunction, this defensiveness, this emotional unavailability, for the weaponized incompetence, for whatever it is. I'm so angry with you about that. And this is and I want you when this is fixed. I am not committed to dysfunction. That's one. And I want to be functional with you. I want our family more than anything, right? Like, and this is, if you really sit with this stuff over time and you really want that, right? Because we're working with integrity and honesty here. Like, we are doing this from a soul point of view, from an honest, aligned point of view. And so communicating this stuff is part of repair. It's communicating it and then creating space for them to step into it. It's saying like, okay, I will never live like this again. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to get therapy. You don't have to work on your emotional dysfunction because for your own life. Like, we are on different spiritual journeys here. I get that. And I will not accept anything less than that in our marriage and for the sake of our family. Like, period, done. And it's like kind of taking space and walking away. And I will be okay if that's not the case. This is like, yes, what you're saying, but it's more of an energy. It's like a vulnerability and boundaries at the same time. It's being like, babe, like, I want this so badly. Like, I really do. I really do. Like, do you know that I want this with you? Like, we're not doing a monologue like you do it like as in a movie. This isn't some like one-time like mic drop monologue. This is a soulful, calm, honest, like heavy, like feel the weight of what you are saying. Feel the tension. Feel the tension of what you're saying, of your authenticity, of your soul finally having a voice. And just being with that. That is what repair is, and that's how you get to connection.